Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Scalia, and welcome back to another video. Um, you'll be seeing me draw a recent digital drawing I did a few days ago, and you can see the full thing on my Instagram, which is a link in the description. And that's not really the focus of today's video. I mainly want to talk about the question I have for this video is how to find your purpose. And for this, I want to just explain my self-discovery journey through this year, through the past year since the pandemic, because recently I've made lots of big decisions within my life. I've changed my perception on where I'm going, specifically within my college life, because I am in college, and I reassessed on what I was studying, why I was studying it, my reasoning for attending college, and I basically just took some time to do some introspection, because I believe taking that time to actually know yourself is important when you're thinking of this question on how to find your purpose. So to give you some backstory, I just finished my first year in college about 2 months ago, and it's really giving me some time to think and to reassess, the things that I've done and the changes I've made within my life. So to give some context, I currently was attending college for neuroscience. So I was taking all the prerequisite classes for neuroscience, specifically all the chemistry, calculus, biology, physics, that sort of thing. And this all kind of started when I was younger. From first to fifth grade, I was always kind of interested in animal science and paleontology, like fossils and stuff. And I was always really good at science. I would get really good grades on my science tests, and I did pretty good in math. When it came to middle school, I actually did very good in math. And it's really surprising that I made these decisions, but anyway, I was really good at math, and the teachers would always say, you should take these classes in high school. These will be really beneficial for you. So I went along with it. And then I got to high school, and I took all the chemistry classes, the biology classes. I went to APs, like AP Chem, AP Calc, things like that. And I was just going with the flow. I was basically just listening to what the teachers were telling me and just doing that. Just listening to them and kind of doing what I thought was right, because they thought that it was the right path. And during my high school time, when they started talking about colleges and what you need to study, I was introduced to neuroscience by my chemistry teacher, and she said, "Yeah, you're really good at this. It kind of connects with your values." So I said, "Sure." But while I was going to high school, so from about 14 to 17, I was writing my novel. I was really trying to write. And, this didn't really go well because I was always so busy with, school, studying, extracurriculars, like prep school and, all that kind of stuff that, like the smart kids do. And I'm not really proud of it now, looking back, because I don't really need it anymore. But to back what I was saying, I was doing my creative stuff on the side, but I was never actually giving it focus, and nothing was getting done that I was personally proud of. But the high test scores, the interest in science and all that stuff was always recognized. And I think that's where most people kind of tend to look for their purpose, is what are you recognized for, and what are you good at, and things like that. And they tend to lose focus of what they really think that their purpose is, because I truly believe that we all have that one passion, that one thing that we're may not the best at, but we can get really good at it to then provide something good to the world. And I really hope for that. And once I got to college and started studying neuroscience, I got extremely frustrated, because not only was I not really liking it, because it's you're doing a bunch of calculus, a bunch of chemistry, a bunch of biology, physics, all this stuff that's really hard, and you have to be doing a ton of work per week for each class. Like I think they recommend you do like 60 hours a week on one class, which absolutely made zero sense. How are you even supposed to do that? Like, I had 4 classes, so that's 480 hours of classwork. I have no idea how you're supposed to fit that in 1 week. It doesn't make any sense. And I just saw myself not improving in pretty much just anything. But I was going with it because since I graduated, and then since high school, I romanticized this idea of being a scientist. I'd pull up to work with my lab coat on. I would go to the laboratory, do some tests, some research and stuff like that. But it wasn't until the spring semester when I, started talking with, transfer counselors and, school counselors, and I started taking some internships and things like that, was when I learned about, how the science world really works. And it's not what I really thought. It wasn't gonna be, just research and then go home and I'll still have time to write and draw. No, it's not like that. It's pretty much your life's calling to do something like that. And for me, it truly wasn't. And this is where I got really frustrated, because I was so confused with who that person was this entire time, taking all those high-level classes and all those hard classes. Who was that person? Because I pretty much basically was on autopilot the entire time, just listening to what they said and did what they told me to do. But I never really thought of, what my purpose was, what I was doing here, why the things that, what's the purpose of me doing all these high-level classes and, becoming a neuroscientist? What was the point of it? And the point of it was because it was all I knew. I never truly looked for myself. But I'm so glad for this pandemic that it was able to provide me with this knowledge and, this kind of desire to do more with my life. So that's when I picked up drawing and writing, because I was so frustrated with the science world and the STEM world that I started, reading a lot more books. I started, taking more literature classes. I have a bunch more philosophy and psychology classes lined up for my subsequent semesters. And I just started to realize so many things, that I was meant to do something else. And I kind of discovered what I really wanted. So that's my story on how I kind of came from, the STEM world to now I'm doing more creative stuff. But I guess now I'll answer the question on how to find your purpose in your life and how to start your self-discovery. And I think the first thing is you have to assess your current situation. Just see where you're at in your life, and do you enjoy it? Do you wake up each and every day excited to do what you're going to do? And this doesn't have to be the case that you're thinking, where you find pleasure in what you're doing. But I truly believe you really shouldn't be looking for the most pleasurable things, but you should be looking for what fulfills you. Because fulfillment is not pleasure. People get that really wrong. But fulfillment is not pleasure. Fulfillment is knowing what you're doing will bear stronger fruit towards the end. What you're doing right now will compound on itself. And I truly believe that. With all my writing and with all my drawing, and being a storyteller, I'm really hoping to inspire people, to change lives, because that's my purpose. I have to change people's lives, and this is the way that I was meant to do it, was through stories, was through writing, was through visualizing my stories, was to tell them in ways that I can, so that people can see them and inspire me or inspire them. So you have to do that. Assess your situation and find out what you can do to bring to this world. The second thing was find out where you want to go. This also goes with, like my last point, but you have to know where you actually want to go. So my father has been a very good help in my self-discovery journey. I'm extremely lucky because since I come from a minority background, it's kind of the expectation to do something prestigious, like an engineer, a lawyer, a scientist, something like that, because that's kind of like the goal, because it signifies that you made it and that you're okay. But my parents have been really supportive of my art journey, of my writing journey, of my self-discovery, and figuring out what I really wanted to major in college, because I made my parents a promise that I would go to college no matter what, despite like the confusion it brings. I will still go. And I think that's what we all kind of have to do when you're in a situation like mine. If you have supportive parents, you should still do what they want you to do, because they're your parents and they gave you life, so you should give back to them what you can, and fulfill your desires so that their desires are fulfilled as well. I'm not saying you have to go with something that you hate, but you have to do something that's purposeful and that will show your parents that you do appreciate what they did for you. And so anyway, so my father, he said that the point is to have a direction. It doesn't matter what the direction is, it just matters you have one. And I think that quote is really important, because most people nowadays, right, we're on social media, we're on YouTube, we're seeing all these people's lives, we're seeing TikToks, all these things. We're seeing people be successful, and you're put at a place where you believe that you're at a disadvantage, and that you just lose your direction that way. And when you're directionless, you truly have no purpose. And that's the fundamental part of finding your purpose. What's your direction? Where do you want to go? It doesn't have to be a destination. I think it is you're better off to only have a state of mind to be where you want to be. Do you want to help people? Do you want to inspire people? Do you want to be achieving things? These are questions you have to ask yourself in self-discovery, is of where you want to be. And the whole point of self-discovery and finding your purpose is, like what my dad said, was you just have to choose a direction, because that's the whole point, is to have a direction and stick with it. And that's kind of what I've faulted on most of my teenage life. Was I constantly was trying to figure out where I had to be, and constantly switching from things. But you just have to stick with something, and I think then you'll actually have a purpose when you stick with something and find a direction. But that's me just rambling on. So I guess the final point that I just want to say is pick a direction. Know what fulfills you, and you'll find your purpose. So with that being said, know the truth, speak the truth. It's Scalia, signing off.